Hello, everybody, and I hope lots of you are going to come online to talk about the insect and the animal kingdom, which is fascinating. I meant the insect and the fish kingdom because we've talked about the animals before. And oh, hi, Tanaki Allison. Lovely to see you too, and Freya and Alicia. I emailed you today, I believe, Alicia. Thank you for your wonderful support of this program. It's lovely to hear from everybody. Hi, Judy. Hi, Judy. As you said, oh, different Judy. Lovely morning. Hi, Melody. Yep, looking forward to this one too, Tanaki. Yeah, I picked a card before I started from the fish and insect section, and guess what? It's the good old butterfly. Be ready to transform with wisdom. So important and beautiful. This is a lovely orange and gold butterfly, Archangel Metatron's colors. And the fish and animal and insects, I'm going to keep saying animals now, aren't I, are so important for the planet. And every one of them has a soul mission. Every one of them has a purpose. They're all bringing us messages, and it is so fascinating. And so, look, I'll start by answering some of the questions that have come in, not necessarily about insects, but about this range. The first one was from Evelyn. I wondered if you had any insights on why the horse kingdom is suffering from equine flu. Well, flu is created from stress, and horses did not come in to be ridden or raced or saddled, and they came into Atlantis to serve, to help, to hold the energy. Hi, Kiki, but not to be treated the way we treated them. And of course, that all creates lots and lots of stress for them. And in addition, the frequency on the planet's rising. So it's rising for the horses as well as for us. And everybody is trying to cope with the shift in energy. So it is stressful, and that's how it's coming out. Hi, Sonay. Hi, Sharon. Up from Skipton. Hi, Julie and Claudine. Elizabeth and Mandy from Edinburgh. Got lots from the UK today. Hi, Hita and Johanna. Oh, Judy, you're from Australia. Oh, one of my very favourite places. Hi, Ali and Julie. Lovely to see you all. Hi, Thomas and Sophia and Edeltraut and Pat and Elizabeth and Yolanda. Hi again from South Africa. Hi, Ben and Barbara and Kavitha from Durban. Durban's another beautiful place. And Serena and Bagita and Hajo and Julie. Oh, you got the butterflies too, just like the card I picked for tonight. Very similar ones. Natasha from India, Barbara and Paula and Sheetal and Christine and Claudia and Mia. Hita, you love butterflies. You know, everybody loves butterflies. They are just bringing such messages from the angels, such hope, such beautiful, beautiful creatures. We've sent a couple of questions about vaccines. That's interesting. More and more children around the world are getting all kinds of injuries from vaccines. Can we all send light to the vaccine industry? That's from Anika. And then I have a question about the unvaccinated children. There are several measles outbreaks in the USA. This is from Rebecca. People who believe that children ought not to be vaccinated because getting the actual disease will make them stronger. I had heard this in the past and thought it seemed sensible. Now, everything I hear on the news and thinking of people actually getting and suffering from measles now seems senseless. I've been thinking, if modern vaccines exist and we have the opportunity to get it, then isn't it the destiny to have the opportunity for that type of immunity? I think the problem is the damage that it causes to certain children. Now, if you're a very sturdy child with a strong immune system, then you're going to be fine with the vaccine and also with the measles vaccine. But the problem is that the new children coming in are very high frequency, very sensitive. And when we put this alien stuff into them, and it's full of mercury and other heavy metals, they can't cope with it. So the very sensitive, high frequency children are the ones that are suffering. And I think that you've got to build up the immune systems, and you've got to find a way of creating a vaccine that hasn't got damaging metals in it. And that people really need to have a choice for their child. Because if you have a child that's damaged, it is devastating, absolutely devastating. And I don't think that we're given half the information that we really need, as with so many things. So it's possibly not a very helpful answer, but that's the best I can do. And I think it's up to everybody to really tune in for their child to see if they can cope with it. Hi, Claudine. Oh, your scarf is beautiful. Thank you. Hello, Francoise and Belle and Carmen and Audrey. I love the way people come from so many parts of the world. It really does feel we're creating such a lovely family here. Wow, two from Canada, Laurie and Janet. And Iris, hi, and Birgitta. Right, now here's a question from Robin, who's sent in lots of questions over the weeks. You talked about Isacs. Now, Isacs are elementals from another universe. And Archangel Metatron and Butalil, they called on, well, they sent out a clarion call to the universe, basically saying, we need more help because Earth is so polluted. Are there any beings or creatures that will be willing to come to Earth and help to consume some of this toxin in exchange for experiencing Earth and taking that experience back to their home planet? And Isacs came in. They are very tiny winged creatures, smaller than fairies, much, much smaller than fairies, really, really tiny. And they came in to clear all sorts of toxins. We were sent lots of pictures with them in where people had been taking drugs. And that drug, all those drugs, they are not just physical, they're etheric. They leave an energy behind. The Isacs have been clearing all that for us, amazingly. And at the same time, Kahils are also little tiny winged creatures. They came in to clear the oceans. And they have been eating up and consuming the oil and other toxins that are in the oceans, because it's just incredible how we have polluted the planet. And so those are two creatures that have come in, or two elementals that have come in to help. And so what Robin says is, some time ago, I had portals opening and I saw beings come in with elementals that looked like dragonflies. That's about it. I never directly see them in full to describe them to you. They are a smaller version of what's in the sky. I see at night they can be huge in the sky, but as they come closer, they become smaller. And this is the same with all the energies. As they come into Earth, they have to make themselves smaller. And they fly clearing energy. Could I draw a picture of these acts? I talk about them. Oh, I'm not sure if it's enlightenment through orbs or ascension through orbs. Come back on that one, because there are, I think, some photographs with them in. But you know, you can only see a tiny pinprick dot. In the same way as you see an orb of a fairy, it's like a dot. These are even smaller. These are pinpricks. and there are so many of them. But they are like little tiny weeny fairies, and they're coming in and they're doing an incredible job for us. And Miriam said, is it possible to clear toxins and heavy metals from our food, water, and bodies with the help of dragons or other light beings? If so, who can we call on? My sense about that is that, yes, they help clear us energetically, but heavy metals and things are a very physical thing, and it's probably better to use homeopathy or crystals for that. Now we're getting on to an insect question. Oh, thank you for your inspiring and enormously informative Facebook sessions. Oh, thank you, Jennifer from Cape Town. That's really nice of you. She wants more information on how to deal with certain creatures that she encounters in her personal space, like spiders and cockroaches. I've had lots of questions coming in. Alphidia, you saw a heron and it looked at you for ages. What a heron's about. Herons are water birds. All water birds, birds that flow in the water, are very, very pure. But the message of the heron is focus on your vision. And then as soon as you see a sign of it coming along, take action. You grab your fish. And that's the message that they're showing you if you see a heron. It's time for action. Time for patience, then time for action. Okay, sorry, I got deflected, Jennifer. So, spiders and cockroaches, you feel bad to quickly usher them out, as they may have a personal message for me or want to bless or clear my space. Yet I'm not too sure about having spiders and cockroaches. You rescued a snake from your pool the other day and released it in your nature reserve. I would so have loved to let it stay in my garden, but I was worried about it falling into the pool again. I think most snakes can swim, or possibly biting one of my children or pets. I also removed a big black spider after blessing it. How do we honor the creatures in our lives while still setting healthy boundaries? Well, first of all, a lot of people talk about removing insects from their home. Actually, it was the insect's home long before it was ours. It's their home and we've taken it over. So one of the things we can do is keep our home high frequency and clean. That's, then that allows the energy to stay higher. And you can mentally communicate with the insect. Mentally communicate with them, because although it's harder to communicate with the third dimensional insects, at some level they're able to pick up our energy. And I think that that is the best thing that you can do. The higher frequency insects, the fifth dimensional ones, which are the ants, the bees, the butterflies, the ladybirds, they are easier to communicate with. So if you just sit very quietly and still, and you call on either the oversoul of the ant, or just the leader of the ants, or whichever creature you're talking to, and then never just say, look, please get out of my space, because as we've already discussed, it's not our space. It was their space long before it was our space. But talk to them, honor them, respect them, thank them for what they do, and say, please could they move? I've done this with ants and it's worked a treat. Please could they move to a certain part of the garden where you'll let them be undisturbed, but say that it's really not appropriate for you to have them in your kitchen, and expect them then to move. I do believe that everything's so overcrowded now that if you have to say, look, I've talked to you twice and you haven't listened, please listen this time, or I'm going to have to put down some poison or whatever it is, then if that's what you feel you've got to do, that's what you've got to do. But do everything that you can first. Oh, Melissa, I've been vaccinated many times for measles and I'm still not immune. I'm 50 years old. Then, Melissa, make sure you've got a very strong immune system so that if it comes along again, you don't suffer too badly. Lorna, I thought vaccines block the third eye. Well, they may well do because they're toxins. The bottom line is that there is a little bit of the vaccine in it, but it's what they're injected with, the carrier, that does a lot of the blocking and the work for the vaccines. Lisa, I went to a wildlife park where peacocks walk around freely, and I had a peacock sit beside me for 20 minutes by the river. So beautiful, especially close up. And for the first time, you're able to get lots of feathers. That's lovely. I love peacocks. I think they're the most magnificent birds. When they spray their tail feathers, they just are amazing and beautiful. And of course, the male peacock, he's also strutting around and he's got lots of ego, but he's got a purpose. While everybody's looking at him, showing himself off, it enables the little hen, who's a little brown creature, to get on with the job unmolested of bringing up the chicks. So everything has a purpose, and I think that they're beautiful. Love them. Hi, Georgia and Jill, and Cheryl and Jody, and Birgitta and Jackie, and Lucy and Ariane. Hi, nice to see you. You may notice that I'm dripping with, I think, hay fever, so I keep having to stop. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the insects. Oh gosh, I've got lots of questions here about different ones. Well, ants, they come from the ascended aspect of Sirius, which is called Lacumae. They are fifth dimensional, and they are here to teach us about sacred geometry and how to build and living in community. They have many, many lessons that they are teaching us by example, because the animals, they don't come and say, you should do it like this. They are demonstrating, either mirroring to us what we do, like some of the hedgerow birds and the gulls, for example, or they are showing us a higher way of being. Oh, thank you, Yuta. Not sure that's how you pronounce your name. Just listen to my talk on mystical connections about dragons. I'm very, very grateful and enthusiastic about the changes we can do for the world in collaboration with the dragons. In tears of gratefulness and hope from Denmark. Thank you. And I am doing another Zoom on galactic dragons. I love the galactic dragons. They are so powerful, so wise, and bringing us the energy. Anyway, bees. Bees, as you might guess, from their healing honey, come from the Pleiades. And you know the elementals that work with the bees are the pixies. They travel with the bees and ensure that they pollinate all the flowers. That's the job of the pixies. And bees travel enormous distances to create the honey, which they offer to, well, they offer us some of it. We take more than we're meant to take. And butterflies come from Orion, and moths, of course. So I have, this is the card I picked for us tonight. That's the butterfly card. And they are messengers from the angels. They bring us messages from the angels, and they're teaching us that we can totally change ourselves. They are showing us about metamorphosis, that we can make a deep transformation in our life. And if you see one, then it's telling you, change. It's also bringing messages of joy and happiness. They are amazing and beautiful beings. And ladybirds come from Orion. Now, they are bringing with them wisdom. If you see a ladybird, and your heart leaps with joy. As it usually is, oh, a ladybird, and you're so pleased. Then the universe opens a doorway for you. Something good is happening for you. That's why they're always considered lucky. It's a bit like seeing a rainbow. If your heart leaps with joy, then the universe opens a doorway for you. Something new coming in if you see a rainbow. With a ladybird, it's some new joy, some happiness, something really nice happening for you. And if, of course, you just say, oh, it's a ladybird, nothing happens. You have not triggered it. It's your energy that triggers the good thing happening. Can I ask the animal realm to help change my son's karma? Not really. I think that you need to talk to the angels and your guides and see what you need to do and how you can help it. Dominic, you keep seeing mermaids. Okay, well, mermaids are elementals, so they're not insects or anything, but they're elementals, and they work with the flora and fauna. So they look after all the seaweeds and other faunas in the oceans. And of course, they're very beloved. People have known about mermaids for eons. They're a bit like the fairies of the land, and people just love them. And so if you keep seeing them, that's fabulous. They are quite tiny, but like all creatures, they can appear as much, much bigger than they are. Okay. That one is not about animals. Can I talk about dragonflies and praying mantis? Actually, I read recently that in some parts of Africa, it's good luck if a praying mantis lands on you. And the Greek mantis means prophet or seer. And they're called praying mantis because they are in a prayer position. And their mission is to keep the insect pest population down, see? Which is what they do. They eat all sorts of insects, but they also eat the pest ones and more of those. Now, dragonflies are fascinating because dragonflies, I think they're the only creature that can go backwards and forwards. They are demonstrating advanced technology to us, and we're learning from them. We have already learned about hovercrafts, and I think that the helicopters were based on dragonflies, and they are showing us what we can do. But more important than that, they're about magic. Remember, somebody had to talk, put a hand up and said to me, what do dragonflies represent? She said, I keep seeing one since my husband died. And I said to her, well, they're saying, look for the magic. And she said, oh, my husband was a magician. And I just thought, oh, the world we live in is so amazing. How animals step forward just to give us exactly the perfect messages. You're petrified of lizards. Okay, I'll get to lizards in a minute. Spiders. They're another one. I've had lots of questions about spiders, and they are third dimensional, of course, and they come from an alien universe. So they're on different wavelengths from us, which is why people think that they're very peculiar and are frightened of them. And they are here to teach us. Goodness me, look what a spider can do. It can weave its web against gravity. Now, we believe that we are controlled by gravity on this planet. And there you have a little spider weaving its web against gravity, showing us, demonstrating to us that we can collectively move beyond the lower limitations that we have set for ourselves. It's also bringing in sacred geometry. Whenever you see a beautiful spider's web built according to sacred geometry, you can know that there are angel sonics around it, and that wherever you see sacred geometry, the angels sing over it. So their sonics are there, their higher vibrations. And so if you are scared of spiders, it may be from some experience that you've had in this or another life, but they are doing what they're meant to do in exactly the right place. Okay, Peter, you had a phobia of snakes, which you overcame with EFT, and EFT is very powerful. And Susan Brown has written a book about angel EFT, working with EFT and the angels, and that's a very good book, and very, very effective and powerful. Now, if you see a snake, it's about metamorphosis, transformation, and I had an email from Jennifer. It is an extraordinary story. She says, I had an incredible dream last night and felt I must share it with you. As your Facebook Live session is tonight and involves creatures, I dreamt that I came across a glowing white cobra in my bedroom, its head upright. It moved away when I approached it and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I thought perhaps it had left my room. After she woke up in the morning, a friend came to visit, and the friend came across the cobra, a real cobra, snuggled under a red blanket on the floor, directly next to my double bed on the left-hand side. Wow! It had slept by my side the whole night without harming me. I feel that it had come to help me clear something in my sleep. What a story! That's absolutely amazing. It's clearly helping you clear something really, really important. And it was on your, you commented that it was on your left-hand side, so it's clearing something from your past. And that's also the female side. And that to actually have a physical live one there is just awesome. So snakes also give a message. Look beyond the surface, look beyond the obvious. There's something else going on. Make sure that you can see the whole picture. They're also protective. Now, all reptiles, whether they're lizards or snakes or kimono dragons or anything, they all, sorry, I'm trying to read these questions at the same time. Perhaps I'll just pause. Susan Tyler says, ants don't like chalk. I used Jay's fluid to clean my floors, covers and worktops, and the ants didn't come back. Okay. Diana, are the ladybirds from Egypt? No, the ladybirds, I don't know when they first came to Earth, but they've stepped down through Orion, bringing the wisdom of Orion with them. Whether they also carry Egyptian wisdom as well, I don't know. So the hen was close by with the chicks. I don't know what that was about. I missed the beginning bit, I think. Okay, let's go back to the snakes and Jennifer's amazing story. All reptiles come from other universes, many, many other universes. They step down to Earth through Neptune. Now, Neptune is a highly spiritual plane, and so they carry, and on Neptune, Neptune holds the wisdom of Atlantis and Lemuria. So all creatures, all humans, if you were one of them, carry the wisdom of Atlantis and Lemuria. And as they crawl on the ground, they spread this wisdom into the earth. But they also carry the energy, they also reach down into hollow earth. They bring up the wisdom of Hollow Earth, and they spread that as well wherever they go. That's amazing. That is quite an awesome soul mission. They're also connected to their original divine blueprint. So they are the only creatures that have never changed their divine blueprints. It's exactly as they were first created by Source. And they don't think things through, they react. That's what they were intended to do. So they just react to the stimulus of that moment. They also spread wisdom from their planets of origin in all these other universes. I think it's interesting that Tracy, see you in Lake Louise in Canada, yes. I look forward to seeing you. And Katie, you missed the bit about bees. You wrote a book about the importance of our bees to teach children how awesome they are. Basically, I'm saying that bees come from the Pleiades, that they are teaching us about sacred geometry, community. They work with pixies. The pixies help them to make sure they pollinate all the flowers. They travel enormous distances to help us. You know, all this information and a lot more, obviously, is in the Archangel Guide to the Animal World. And all the animals, all the insects that I could possibly get, and fish are there. Lizards. I think lizards are fascinating. Sorry, I don't know who it was. I'm sorry. I've lost the name now. Was terrified of lizards because everything I've said about the reptiles applies to lizards, obviously, but they drop their tail if they're in danger. Now, this sounds awful, but when I lived in the West Indies, we had a cat. Of course, she would run in and catch lizards, and the lizards would drop the tails, and the tails would dance across the kitchen floor while the lizard escaped. And what the message is for us is, don't hold on. Let go. Whatever you've lost, just let that part of you go, or let that, whatever it is, go. And it will come back into your life again. It will regrow. And that's the message. When you see a lizard, it's telling you, just let go. And tortoises, they're reptiles. Now they are different because they come from the ascended aspect of Jupiter, which is Jumbe. Then, of course, they step down through Neptune. And they're influenced by a different moon from the turtles. And so one is in the waters, the turtles are in the waters doing exactly the same job, coming from Jumbe, bringing down the wisdom of Jumbe, the abundance consciousness, all of that, to spread that into the waters or on the land if they're a turtle. And their shell is to protect them from other energies around them, but also to protect the incredible wisdom that they carry, that they are spreading everywhere. When I was a child, you used to see tortoises walking around. I haven't seen a tortoise for ages. I think we have covered everything with concrete. Well, Marianne, throughout the spring and summer, you have many butterflies that flutter around. That's so fabulous. I love to seeing it. Oh, Catherine, you were looking at an apartment during the winter, and a peacock butterfly came into the kitchen from nowhere. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, yes, you lived there for several years. Well, peacock butterflies are particularly beautiful. I love them. And you saw a yellow butterfly yesterday and today. Again, yellow is the colour of sunshine and happiness and brightness. It's lovely to see that. Rose, interesting, we talk about communicating with ants and spiders. Well, spiders are more difficult. Remember, ants are fifth dimensional, spiders are third dimensional. They're also alien to this universe. So it's quite hard to communicate with them. But that really shouldn't stop us trying, even if you just sit there and just send it a little bit of gratitude for what it's teaching and a little bit of understanding how hard it must be for them to come in from an alien universe to experience this planet and take all that they've learned back. Rebecca, most of the time when you see ladybugs, you feel joy. But there have been a couple of instances where they've been a nuisance. Once was at a friend's wedding when we, her friends, had a bad feeling about the marriage, and another time when they got caught in my door frame and there were so many. That's a shame. I think that the fact that they came into your friend's wedding, you had a bad feeling about it, and that might be right, but they were telling you to just stay positive about it and just let joy come in. An interesting one from Catherine. What do centipedes mean? Funny enough, I picked up the Archangel Guide to the Animal World this afternoon and just opened it up on a few pages and put some pointers in. And I looked at the centipedes, and the centipedes do not have thousands of legs or hundreds of legs by chance. They come in with all those legs because they're learning about coordination. And so they have to learn to coordinate all those legs when they're walking. Must be very difficult. Let me see if I've got anything else there. Oh, cockroaches. Oh, here we are. Centipedes. Their sole purpose is to learn and teach about coordination. They are demonstrating that it's possible for many aspects to work together in harmony. They're also demonstrating regeneration, but they can grow more legs. It's currently impossible for humans because we've got limited beliefs, just what I was saying about the spiders, in our collective consciousness. And those creatures are showing us that it is possible. And millipedes start with only a few legs but continue to grow more each time they molt. They also serve by helping to decompose organic matter in the earth. People usually ask about things like mosquitoes. Well, in Atlantis, of course, all the water was running. And so you didn't have mosquitoes. It was only at the end of Atlantis when water was left lying around and it was no longer purified with crystals that mosquitoes came in to teach that we really have to get our water pure and running. And that's what they're teaching us. Excuse me again. Cockroaches. People are very averse to cockroaches, just in the same way as they are with rats. Now, I've told my story about rats so many times, but I don't think I'm going to tell it again. But basically, they've come in on a service mission to clear all the stuff that we throw away and the etheric rubbish that we send out. And did you see there's been a wonderful story on the news this week about this rat in Germany? And it was so fat that it got caught in the grid. And so all these men and firemen had to come and they had to open this grid in the street and release the rat. And they put it back down in the sewer so it could carry on living. And I just thought that was amazing, you know. Half the time they're killing them, and the other half, when one is in trouble, their hearts open. And hopefully it opened it to the whole rat kingdom. Right, there are more questions coming in. There was one about grasshoppers. Now, grasshoppers come from Andromeda. Beings who come from Andromeda carry the grasshopper shape. Andromeda is a planet of higher love. When the grasshoppers and crickets, they rub their legs together to create that sound. I'm sure you've probably heard it on YouTube or something. You can find it there. crickets and grasshoppers sound slowed right down, and it sounds like a choir of angels singing in a cathedral. And that's part of that love energy that they're sending out everywhere. So there's much more to insects than we ever realize. Oh, Sharon, that's a shame. You're terrified of fish. I think they're beautiful as long as you're looking at them from afar. Put me in water and I'm petrified. Sometimes wonder if it's from something that happened in my lifetime in Atlantis. It could have happened at any time because, of course, under the water you can't see what's going on. Hello, Rachel. Nice to see you. And we don't know what's going on underneath the water. Maybe you can try the EFT that lots of people are recommending and look at what it is about the fish, because they are amazing, amazing, beautiful creatures. And let me go back to cockroaches quickly, because they have the same mission as rats in the insect world. They come in to clear all the lower energy in the sewers, the foul waste, and they break down the foul waste to keep the nutrients moving around the ecosystem. This was accepted when humans were fastidious and they only created a little waste. Nowadays, there are so many people on Earth that it's overwhelming. Everything's very complex. And they don't just work with the physical diet. Like the rats, they work with the etheric energy around it to clear it. And so we need to send them a little gratitude and a little love. And I know that's very difficult. I came across your sister keeps seeing dragonflies in meditation, so one at the bottom of her bed. Well, we talked about dragonflies earlier on. Dragonflies bring in magic. They bring in higher frequencies. They bring in new possibilities. They are amazing and beautiful beings. How about if we just did a little energy to thank the insects, the third dimensional insects, because they're doing a tremendous amount for our planet. We wouldn't have a planet if it wasn't for them. So why don't we just close our eyes? Just set your intention to understand and think about the insect kingdom. Let me see if I can plug it up. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Here's a bee. Okay? Just think about these beautiful and amazing creatures, all of them. And just imagine that you're sitting on a soft, smooth, warm boulder overlooking the countryside. And as you sit there with the sun on you, open your heart to the world of insects. Thank the beetles for breaking down old, unwanted material so it can be recycled for a higher purpose. Thank the centipedes and millipedes for demonstrating the beauty of coordination and the possibility of regeneration. Thank the cockroaches for breaking down foul waste to keep nutrients moving around the ecosystem. Thank the fleas for reminding us about the importance of cleanliness. Thank the flies for reminding us of the importance of good hygiene. Thank the mosquitoes for reminding us to keep water clear and moving. Thank the slugs and snails for eating up the dry old leaves. Thank the ticks for teaching us that we live in an interdependent world and for passing on the wisdom of other creatures. Thank the crickets, grasshoppers and locusts for fertilizing the land and for teaching us to expand our level of possibilities. Thank the spiders for demonstrating sacred geometry and teaching us the power of focusing on our vision. Thank the wasps for teaching about sacred geometry and for work they do pollinating, scavenging and devouring insects. And let's just quietly send out a message to the world, asking that humans and insects may live in divine harmony. It's amazing how much good just taking a moment to think about the insects and thank them for their work does for the planet. Claire, what does it mean when 2 black rabbits or black kittens appear in my dream? Well, black is the colour of the divine feminine, it's the magic, the mysterious. 2 is, it's about a pair, about doing things together, about togetherness. Rabbits are heart-centered, beautiful beings who are helping to connect us to the sacred sound of the universe and the planet. And kittens, they're all about, it's about babies and love and the mystery of love. Oh, Majati, you have a tortoise. Oh, Satu, you have sometimes dreams where tarantulas, usually an aquarium, some trying to get away. You had a tarantula when you were young. Do you know what those dreams mean? I usually am afraid of spiders in my dreams. Okay. A lot of people are afraid of spiders, and it is an ancient atavistic fear of the foreign, the alien, something we don't understand. So it may be about physical spiders, or it may just be reminding you that you are afraid of the vastness that you don't understand, in which case you can ask Archangel Gabriel to bring you clarity and a sense of understanding the universe. Dominic, can you have a card? Why not? Why not? Here we are. We now put them all together. I took out the reptiles and the fish. We haven't talked about the fish at all tonight. And the fish are also beautiful and amazing. By the way, what did you feel about that little thank you meditation? It's in the Archangel Guide to the Animal World. Isn't that typical? We have got the butterfly. That is obviously our theme for tonight. I put them all in. I shuffled them. And Dominic, you got butterfly again. So be ready to transform with wisdom. What it's saying basically for everybody watching tonight is that it's time to make a huge shift in your life. Come out of your cocoon, move onto the ascension pathway even higher, recognize that every single part of this amazing planet is just simply awesome. And also, you know, the butterflies say to you, the angels love you. The angels are with you. They're always ready to help you. And Carly says, when you reach a certain point in a personal growth process, a special type of spider comes to validate I'm on the right path and that I'm almost done with that subject. It feels so loving and wonderful. Isn't that's beautiful. I love it. That is just fantastic. Oh, 2 is your number today, Teresa. You saw 2 llamas and 2 geese. Fine. And so it's about companionship, friendship, doing things with somebody else. And it's lovely, bringing things together. Alicia, you read about Fatty Rat. So cute. It was enormous. Poor little thing, so fatty, got stuck. Brought out a different compassion in people. That's the lovely thing about it. Oh, you love crickets and grasshoppers. Yes, of course. They are carrying the energy of Andromeda. Claire, you had rats in your attic. You don't mind, but they do insist on playing British bulldogs in the wee hours of the morning. Yeah, they are noisy little creatures when they run around. Charmaine, oh, I did talk about mosquitoes earlier, about how they came in at the fall of Atlantis when people started leaving water around and not purifying it. And they're here to remind us to keep water running and clean. Okay. Thank you. You need the good health. Bless you with your sneezing. I've only sneezed once tonight. I've been sneezing all day. Anyway, that's just how it goes when the weather changes. And I had hoped to talk about lots of. Here's a question about seahorses, which I love seahorses. They are so special and unique. And again, I had a little read about them in the Archangel Guide to the Animal World this afternoon. So their oversoul chose a very unique experience for Earth, because the male and female, they nearly always mate for life. And every morning they have adjacent kind of territories. And every morning they meet where the territories overlap. And they do an elaborate courtship ritual to reinforce their togetherness. I mean, isn't that amazing? Isn't that fantastic? They change colour. They grasp each other's tails and they move around together. And they've also chosen to do their birthing differently, because the male transfers the eggs into his pouch, and he then looks after those eggs, gives them everything they need until the teeny little live seahorses are born. And then when I lived in the Caribbean, I used to come across them sometimes in the water, and they were just so beautiful, so tiny, some of them, and gorgeous. And so I think that's everybody loves them for that reason. It'd be interesting if I could just manage to find a page with seahorses on. I haven't marked it, so it probably won't come up. But fish, nearly all the fish come from Pisces, and they're either in a group soul. So there are group souls. These tiny little fish, they're in a group soul of about 1,000 fish. And then the trout and fish, cod that size. There's a difference between a trout and a cod. But they're in a group soul of about 100. And then you get the individuated fish, like the dolphins, the incredible dolphins who've got, who carry the wisdom, the high priests and priestesses of the oceans. And the rays from the Pleiades, the dolphins come from the ascended aspect of Sirius, called the Cumae. The rays, they come from the Pleiades. Wherever they go in the water, they're spreading healing energy. The turtles, they come in from the ascended aspect of Jupiter, Jumbe. And again, they're spreading abundance, consciousness, and love and light in the waters. And the sharks, they come from the ascended aspect of Mars, called Magelle. And they are actually the peaceful warriors looking after the oceans, keeping everything in order. And they all form an army to protect the dolphins, because the dolphins have got such amazing wisdom that they are carrying you. Cola, I don't know, what is hay fever telling us? It's telling us that our immune system is down. and also that we've got grief to let go of, or colds and things, they're all letting go of that. And how do you heal it? Oh, like all things, it's about looking at what you're holding on to and clearing it, and making your immune system much stronger. Thing is that nowadays, I never used to have hay fever, but it's only been started about 3 years ago, and oregano oil. Do you know, I had some of that, I think. It's yeah, sorry about having a runny nose. It's not very nice for you to have to listen to my slightly croaky voice and nose, but I love doing this program. I love it that you all come and join and you add your comments and your helpful things. I'm going to look for that oregano oil, and I've got some golden seal, which I think is wonderful. And yeah, so let's talk about what's coming up. Oh, I wrote this down. I should remembered once. So on Sunday, we've got a Zoom on unicorns. And this isn't just unicorns. This is making a deep connection with the unicorns. I've got some fabulous meditations to do. It's giving us healing and soul healing. Also doing a big clearance on the veils of illusion across our third eye. And I think it's going to be awesome. That's a Zoom on Sunday, and it's from 7 to 9. This time next week for our Facebook Live, I'm doing the Elemental Kingdom. Now that's always fun. If you've had any experiences with fairies or goblins or elves or fauns, or any of those, do share them. You can always send them to diana@dianacooper.com. Marked Angel Inspiration Time, because I don't see them otherwise. And that would be lovely to share your stories. And then on the 13th, that's the following Wednesday, that's 2 weeks today, I'm doing a Zoom on Lemurian crystal healing. Wow, I think that will be incredibly powerful, because the Lemurians were so powerful. They were this great energy, and then they individualized. They created the crystals. For this Lemurian crystal healing, you do not need to have your own Lemurian crystal. If you've got one, fabulous, but you don't have to have one. And we will be joining together as one, with one huge heart energy, to connect with the Lemurian energy, and of course Mary, and send healing to the planet and to ourselves. So you will receive healing, and will also give the incredible healing. And then on Sunday the 24th, I'm going to do Meet the Incredible Galactic Dragons. I talked about that earlier. I just think we've got such an exciting world we live in. There is so much to talk about, so much to learn, so much to share. And I always love it when you let me know what you want to talk about, what you'd like to do Zooms on, what you'd like to do Facebook Lives on. And it's lovely when you share that and let me know. Okay, lots of love to you all. I'll try and be all bright and perky by Sunday, and definitely for next week's Facebook Live. Bye-bye, everybody. Lots of love.